Welcome to the Kountryfried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. The podcast that will connect you to resources regionally and nationwide to engage them in open, honest discussions so that we can inspire the growth that you need to chase the experience you want. So strap yourself in because here we go. Those ones where, can you hear me all right?
Oh, I can hear you great.
Do you need me to turn it down? Do you need it up a little bit?
Maybe just down just a little.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Good there?
Yep.
I'm deaf from DJing all the time, so so unfortunately I need to turn things up a little bit, probably louder than I need to be. I'm gonna boost those up a little bit. So all right. What's good about these things, it's easy to kind of get started and just roll with it as you go.
Oh, so. Yeah.
Oh, well, everybody, welcome to the Chasing Your Experience podcast. I'm your host, Sean Smith, and in studio with me is another repeat visitor, repeat guest, Billy Dryden. Welcome back, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you back, man. You and I have got a lot to talk about, more so just your recent trip out to Etar. So that'll be definitely on the docket we'll be talking about. And I gotta circle back to your Instagram post you had there. I'm not gonna let you get away with that one, but it's all good. We'll talk about that. And if anyone follows you on Instagram, they probably know what that is, but we'll get to that here in a minute. That's upcoming. Let's see what else we got to talk about. I don't know, just upcoming seasons, just get caught up in stuff, I think, man.
I think so. Season will be here before we know it, and it'll be time to get in the woods and try to get some deer on the ground.
I can't believe it's August already, and we're almost halfway through August. Our season's coming in on the 27th. So it's always the last Saturday of September is when our season comes in. So let me ask you about that though, because Kentucky comes in before us. They kind of have like a tail end of a velvet season. Do you think that we would benefit, or would you like to see an Ohio season come in a little bit earlier?
I really don't know how I feel about that. Kentucky, I think, comes in. Actually, I probably came in this weekend. I think your big bucks are more susceptible, at least in the first few years, if they would adjust the season because they're not used to being hunted.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, selfishly, I think it'd be great, especially if I had a bean field to hunt over. Your best chance of killing a buck is that first day or two if you got green beans. But I don't know. I think it's tradition here in Ohio, and it used to be in October, which I thought was kind of late. End of September is good, but if we could bump it 1 week forward, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. I've always kicked around so for me, my concern would be like our fawns, just the way our fawning season is, right? And if we were going to run a season like that, if we were going to do an early season, I would like for it to just stick as like a buck only season, antlered only. Just so I guess give the fawns just a little bit more time to get a little bit more weight, a little bit more independent, because we do have some late born fawns, like February, a doe bred in like January or February. So, I mean, I've seen fawns and spots going into October, late October. I wouldn't say November, but definitely late October.
Yeah, and I think that's a combination of things. But a lot of times, if you've got a high doe density and a lower buck density, that's a problem because all your does are not getting bred in the first week or two of November. And I think that's just a matter of not a lot of people shoot does anymore. Everybody wants to kill a big buck. And I personally know guys that if they kill a buck, they're done. And I think you have to manage the does. I mean, I figure I'm probably going to have to shoot 3 or 4 off my place this year just to maintain the correct level, like the correct balance.
Yes, and I hear what you're saying, and I agree 100% with you. And I think the state of Ohio would agree 100% with you, because have you seen their campaigns here recently about filling your freezer, shoot a doe, and they're really pushing that deer management tag right now, because the state wants us to shoot more does. Like they've come right out and say we need to shoot more does.
I actually haven't seen that, but we definitely do. I know I know a guy that he said he's not very far from my property, and I asked him, I said, how many does you got? Because I have way too many. He said, well, we seen 30 one night in two different areas of the farm, like 15 apiece.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's what we see is does. And it's a very complex issue. And I know that's kind of like the cop out thing to say. It's always this complex issue. It's complex, but it's a way of saying like, whatever I'm about to say is just the tip of the spear. And I'm sure I'm missing reasons, but there's a lot of reasons that go into that buck culture, right? Well, look at how is most hunting products sold? It's sold with a picture of a big buck, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And, it used to be you hunted for meat and you hunted. And if you've seen a big buck, you shot a big buck. And I think you alluded to my Instagram post. And I think that plays a huge part in it because now you've got guys that, shoot a crossbow and it is what it is. They're here, they're legal. I can't say anything about anybody that shoots one, but they shoot a crossbow so that they're not practicing. That it's not that big a deal to go out and shoot a deer as far as nerves. Um, when I shot a compound and still today with a trad bow, I try to shoot the first doe that comes by and gives me an opportunity that doesn't have fawns. It's just a confidence builder. And like with a crossbow and stuff, you don't need that because you shot your crossbow the day before season and you were in the bullseye at 30 yards. So you don't need that confidence boost. It's not a big deal to you.
You know, I have thought that in my head before, like what you said there, going out and shooting a doe, you know, and I never really put it in words like that, getting that confidence boost. But you're 100% right, right? I like having that opportunity to go out there and shoot a doe. I like filling the freezer. Like I shoot 4 deer, probably 4 or 5 deer a year. Mostly anywhere between 3 to 4 is usually where I average, right? Of course, most of those are does. Sometimes in the year, that's all I shoot is does, right? But I like filling the freezer. We eat a lot of it, but I also like that practice that gives you to hone in that skill and to kind of get knock off the dust a little bit, because this is a new season, right? How long has it been? February our season goes out, doesn't come back in till so unless you've got some summer seasons, you travel and do some summer season somewhere, like go to shoot axis deer in Texas or maybe some hog hunts out of state. What other real practice do you have on live animals other than you got 3D targets, but that's not the same thing. You know, it's not.
It's 100% not the same. I know people that shoot extremely well on 3Ds that can't shoot animals to save their life. They let the nerves completely rattle them. And I'm talking like world class 3D shooters that when they get an animal in front of them, just absolutely lose their mind. And I try to tell them, shoot a doe, shoot the first doe that comes by.
Mm-hmm.
And then your confidence is there. You make a perfect shot on a doe. You're not going to be worrying about whether you're going to hit the buck. You're going to be worried about how long the drag is.
Yeah. Right. Man, yeah, I've got myself into trouble a couple times that way, being too far in shoots. I'm like, how am I getting it out of here? Especially man. So I think of one, and I don't want to get off too much off topic, but I want to talk about this for a second. So several years ago, we had like snow apocalypse, man. We got like 15. I know people in Michigan, sorry, you guys get like 200 inches of snow a year, here 15, 16 inches at a time. Like we got like dumped on. I'm like, I'm gonna go hunting. And the spot I went to was on top of a ridge, and it took me it's about a mile by the time you follow the trail to get back to where I was going, right? And I was lucky, and I was successful shooting a doe, and she ran down the ridge down towards the neighbor property. So to get her out, I had to go uphill to go back downhill. I'm like, what did I do? What did I get myself into? So yeah, I get that. I get that when you get in those positions where you find yourself in trying to drag something out. But well, we touched on 3D for a second. So one of the things we got to do today is you came and shot the 3D course here at the house. So what do you think?
Oh, it was a great time. Good realistic shots. And don't miss because you're going to have to swim to get your arrow. But other than that, no, it was great. It was a good time.
Yeah, and you alluded to something earlier about 3D shooters, and you and I talked about this out on the range for a second. When you look at those rings, and I think everybody who does both. They shoot both 3D and hunt realistically, and they actually think about it. Those rings, depending upon the angle you're shooting that target at, if you solely relied on that as your point of reference on an animal, you're in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. So, a lot of people on the 3D range, the 3D guys that set them, they like to put a broadside deer target quartered away, which is fine, but you still have to shoot it. If you want to shoot a 10, you have to shoot that target too far forward because now you need to move back. And if it's a fairly hard quarter, you actually want to shoot that deer behind the last rib and come out right on that other shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you do that on a 3D target, you're going to shoot a 5.
Yeah, yeah. So I think 3D is one of those things where it's good, but like we said earlier, it's not the same thing, you know. But of course, we were talking about in a different light and earlier, you know, talking about the nerves involved in that versus, you know, hunting when you got a live animal in front of you. But with 3D also, like, it's good practice to kind of get you in the I guess shooting your bow and not losing that skill that you have because it is a perishable skill. Like I notice it if I haven't shot in a couple of days, I go out and just try to shoot. It's like, oh, I don't remember it being like this. Like I got maybe a little bit more shake, a little bit more of this. You know, I got to find my rhythm again. But if I stay shooting every day, like it's almost it becomes automatic. And I'm sure you notice that with a trad bow too. Like you know, you'll notice that you'll lose that skill if you're not doing it. But you know, so it keeps you doing that and it helps you kind of pinpoint, I think, a spot, you know, to kind of really focus your aim towards something. So it kind of helps you with that whole aim small, miss small, if you get serious about it. But at the end of the day, though, you got to know where to shoot an animal in real life, right? Those rings aren't, I mean, there are some targets out there that have like a couple different set of rings on them to where if they are angled, it makes a little bit more sense. But for the most part, you get, you know, you look at your Reinhardts, you look at most of, even if you look at the ASA stuff, there's your 10 ring, you got your 212 rings, and that 14 ring that's way up. I don't even think that's even liver where that 14 ring sits. So yeah, you gotta learn where to aim. And you kind of came, you know, you and I kind of agree on this because you said you had a little phrase, you had a little thing you tell people to aim for it, and you and I both kind of agree on this. And what was that? You say when you're shooting an animal, what do you want? What are you looking for?
I'm always looking to hit or shoot just behind the offside shoulder.
So basically, and I take it a direction where I say aim for the exit is what I'm aiming for, right? You know, I'm trying to imagine a straight, and so are you. We're both saying the same thing, maybe in just different terms. Where I'm trying to draw a straight line through that animal, and where my arrow is going to exit at. That's where I'm aiming for. You know, that helps you because if you're elevated, you know, you got to aim a little bit higher than what you think you do to get into the vitals that you want to hit. If you're quarter away, quartering two, you know, those are the things you need to think about is where does this arrow want to exit? And that's where you want to and that's how you want to aim. So that's the best I can tell anybody out there coming in from the 3D world to the archery world or hunting world, or even just hunting if you're new to hunting or something to think about. So
No, we're definitely saying the same thing, and what you're saying is exactly right. You're more focused on getting the arrow to exit where you want it, as opposed to going in. It's all relatable, but if I get a deer that's on a fairly hard quarter,
mm-hmm.
I want to hit it in that offside shoulder or just behind it. I'm probably going to have to hit right behind the last rib. And on a 3D target, that's completely out of the 8 ring.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's the difference though too with 3D because on 3D like actually shooting 3D, you're trying to shoot for score. You're more worried about where the arrows on that same side. You're trying to hit on that side. When you're hunting though, you want that arrow, you want to think of that arrow passing through and hitting that spot on the other side of on the off side of the deer versus the on side where you're at. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yep, that's 100% correct.
You know, so it changes your focus. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, just change your focus of what side you want that arrow to poke. You know, you're trying to hit that, you know, wherever you want to put that 10 ring. Just make sure you put on the on the right side of it. So, and you're hitting the right one. But other than that, man, so good. I'm glad you enjoyed the course. I think it's gonna be a new format. I think I'm gonna invite people out to shoot the course and then come in here and record a podcast. I think that's gonna be the new format.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Had a little misfortune though.
Yeah, I've got an old PSE compound that I was planning on killing a deer with this year, which that's not going to happen now because it blew up. A limb it actually was the most gentle blow up I've ever seen in my life. It just kind of folded over.
Well, just so people know, yeah, because everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, you shot without an arrow, didn't you?" Like, no, he didn't dry fire. Literally, the arrow was on it. He drew back, and then the limb cracked, and then the arrow goes whoop.
Yeah, the arrow landed like 2 feet from it.
So technically, by rules of 3D, if the bow hadn't blown up and it was still safe for him to shoot, he could have grabbed that arrow and shot it and still been okay because he could have reached it from the pin and he could have still shot that and it wouldn't have counted against him. So just to say, but yeah, there was an arrow on it, and that was interesting. You've been around for for a few accidental forget to put arrows on the bow.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Josh is still off of arrow loading probation yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things where you better, if you're going to travel somewhere, take it. If you have a spare bow, take it with you. That's a learning lesson there. Or just make sure you put an arrow on your bow.
Absolutely. In Georgia last year, I was running a lone wolf setup. I got off a buddy of mine because another buddy was using my stand, and my stand's so worn in that I just always hang my bow on my spare stick. Well, I did that on his stick, which was new,
Mm-hmm.
and it cut a few strands. And then I went up, we met him, and we were going to go hang another stand. And he said, "Here, shoot this judo." So I drew back and released, and my bow was super loud. And I had cut a few strands and blew one bundle of my string up.
Oh no.
Luckily, I had a spare string and I had a spare bow
Mm-hmm.
in camp.
Oh no. Yeah, and listen, it's hard in today's world, like because most of these bows today, like $1,200 if you're looking at top end, right? Um, and there was a TikTok, one of the excerpts from the TikTok video showed up. uh, I got a comment on it, and we were talking about, you remember back in the day, you just go to Walmart, just throw stuff in your bow, just went out and shot,
Oh, yeah.
just did that, right? Well, a guy commented, he's like, I've killed a lot of animals that way, right? I've shot a lot of animals just that way, and it's sad that today, like, if you're not shooting like a top end thing, like if you didn't go buy the top end Matthews flagship Matthews bow, or Hoyt or Elite, just throw whatever in the flagship, then people kind of scoff at you, and you know now, granted, yes, I always, it's gonna sound shitty and I just said that, but I do buy the flagship bow, but I don't buy one every year. But I like it. I appreciate it, right? But there's nothing wrong with, if you buy what you can afford. Like those bows, I've heard it this way, like those bows technically are what we was a flagship bow 5 to 10 years ago. Is
Oh,
what that five, six, $700 bow is. Like, and to be honest with you, I think we're at a certain point in the market outside of like this new adjustability or tunability people are putting in their bows where you don't have to press it to tune it. You're not really missing much, right? You might, maybe a little bit of vibration, which you and I talked about. Like, I don't put a lot of credit to hand shock, right? I really don't. Yeah, if you're shooting in your backyard, you're going to notice it, but I guarantee you're not going to notice it when you're shooting at a deer. Like, think of it this way: how many times do you remember the sound of the gun going off when you shot a deer?
never.
You never do, right? You don't, some of us start wearing earmuffs today because now we got the electronic ones, but back then, oh, I'll be honest with you, we didn't wear ear protection. I
No.
don't remember hearing the gun go off at all. Like my ears didn't ring, nothing. It just happened. So yeah, you won't notice it then. You'll notice if you're sitting here in the backyard shooting, of course, right? But not in that situation. So I don't put a lot of thought into that vibration. So, but yeah, you're looking at a bow then, that $500-$600 bow. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, that bow is probably better than the bows from 8 to 10 years ago by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The last deer I ever shot with a compound, I had an old Matthews switchback. I actually shot it like 2, 3 years ago in gun season,
Mm-hmm.
and that bow was a great shooting bow,
Mm-hmm.
and it's probably close to 20 years old.
Mm-hmm. You're not. The market's got to the point now where I think there's so much innovation that's out there that it's getting to the point to where the upgrades every year are just tiny or just small, just minuscule. It's not a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. They're I mean, it's going to take a huge advancement before they make a huge stride again. they're just slowly chipping away at it. Now,
Mhm.
in 10 years, we'll probably look back and think, man, that came in a long way.
Mhm.
But year to year, it's not that big. And if you can afford a $500 bear ready to hunt, buy that, and then throw away the whisker biscuit on it and put a drop away on it, and you've got a good setup.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, I shot bear for a long time, and I hate to admit this, but sometimes I've been guilty a couple times that I've been younger Sean. Today, Sean wouldn't be like, but younger Sean, I think I was in that crowd before. Like, I'll be honest, like I think I was in that crowd where I've been with some people that has shot bringing like the very low end bear to like a shoot, right? And I don't know if I kind of put my nose up at him, but I kind of almost like, oh, poor buddy. But today, not so much, man. Um, because there's something to be said though, like when does it become too much? You know, and that's a topic we can talk about. Arrows, we could talk about anything. The heavy arrow, the light arrow, whatever. How much money you spend on this? When does it become just too much, and it's just more than what you need to just go out there and get the job done. Like, I love those videos where people just go to Walmart, and I'm not telling you to go buy a Walmart bow, but if that's what you can afford, that's what you get out in the field and go do that. But they go to Walmart, they buy the Walmart bow, whatever, the Barnett, the Bear, whatever's sitting there, they buy that, and then they go out and they shoot a deer.
Oh, 100%. And I've thought about doing that just to prove it can be done. Walmart sells a very cheap compound that goes to like 45 pounds.
Mhm.
I get a short draw, it goes to 27, which is my draw. And I
Mhm.
have no doubt in my mind that no, it's a little easier for me than a beginner because I've shot a compound and I know how to set that bow up to kind of help it along because 40 will kill them.
Mhm.
But that bow is also not shooting as fast or as hard as, say, if you bought a Matthews or Bowtech or whatever. But there's no doubt in my mind that I could set that bow up and kill a deer.
Yeah. And so it goes back to what is it that your mission is? And if your mission is to go out in the woods, enjoy it, and have the opportunity of harvesting your own deer or your own animal, that bow will be just fine. I've made the argument before, and maybe I need to actually put some effort into this, right? And go and actually do this. But I've said it before, I said a lot of it isn't the bow itself, a lot of it is the shooter.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you can take a really bad shooter and give them a brand new whatever name brand bow, and you can give a really good shooter like Levi Morgan a cheap bow, and Levi's gonna just smoke them every time. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even a thing. It's not the bow. At the end of the day, it's the shooter. Now you take that Walmart bow and you take a new Elite or a new Matthews, they're gonna be a little more shooter friendly,
Yeah.
but you can get it done with the other bow. And the other thing is, you got to know your limitations. You've got a 45-pound compound with a short draw like I have. I'm not going to be shooting 60 yards.
No.
I absolutely can kill a deer at 20 with it, and that's about as far as I would push it.
Yeah. And I mean, but you're a trad shooter though. Like that's in your wheelhouse, that 20 yard, And honestly, let's be real. Like the furthest I've ever shot a deer has been 42 yards. Like that's, and that's actually that skull right there. It's that deer was 42 yards. And most of the time it's 20 yards and in. That most deer I've shot, actually most deer I've ever shot have been within that.
Yeah, and even when I shot a compound, I shot one deer at 40 yards and never did it again. I had a big buck at 40 that I probably should have shot because I shot a lot. I shot out to 80 yards
Mm-hmm.
and was very proficient to 80,
Mm-hmm.
but I just didn't feel comfortable taking the shot. And I really want them with my trad bow or even anything. 12, 15 yards is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, I mean, they're not too close, they're not too far.
Yeah, and I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole here, but hey, do you watch any videos from like Levi Morgan or them?
Not a lot. I've seen a little bit of stuff of his, but
Um,
Levi is kind of a freak though. He can shoot it 100 yards like most people can shoot at 30.
yeah. So Levi if you're not familiar with this, Levi had a video where he was talking about like the distances to shoot deer, right? And he was saying like up to about 30, and you guys can go find the video and listen to it. He's like, once you hit that 30-yard mark, there's like a period between 30 and 60 yards that it's really risky, in his opinion, of shooting a deer because of the time it has to react. Versus like if you get further, that 60 yards, the thing there is you're far enough away to where the noise of the bow isn't as like shock worthy to the deer, right? And I know that's going to bring a bunch of comments or a bunch of arguments over, well, maybe it's not the bow they're hearing, they're actually hearing the arrow coming at them, which okay, I can buy into that. But also I think Mississippi State, I think that's the university that's doing some studies. The way their vision works is they think they might actually be able to see the arrow.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, as a human, you're not going to see a compound arrow, but I can absolutely watch my trad bow arrow fly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Sean Smith of the Chasing Your Experience podcast. We interrupt this episode to let you in on some exciting news. If you're looking to upgrade your mock scrape game this year, then head over to scrapedoctor.com and fill your carts full of scrape magic, maybe a poison ivy or two, just a rope squared, or even just a rope. And then enter the code Kountryfried10. That's Kountryfried, spelled with a K, the number 10, and save yourself a little bit of money. And now, back to the pod. Anyways, so we were talking about crossbows, and we were talking about the able-bodied person, and you just brought up the fact that, and we talked about, listen, it's legal. If you go out there, you do your thing. But and then you were touching on like you're not against crossbows, so let's go from there.
So yeah, I was saying like crossbows are okay. People want to shoot them; they are legal. So if you shoot them, I'm not gonna, it's legal, so I can't be upset about it. But I really think they should have their own season, and I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that's, a whole month of October. I don't know when it is, but I think they should have their own season. That I really don't think they should be in a general archery season.
And there's a lot of people I think that would agree with you. And I said that earlier. I don't know if it picked it up or not because we had some technical difficulties. Sorry. Still learning this new program and how it works with my computer, especially when I'm not on when I'm they'll have a out of studio guest. But there's a lot of people that would probably agree with you, and then of course there are some that would argue. So, can you think of what some of those arguments would be to just allow them to happen, just to keep them in the season?
Oh, they're gonna want to be inclusive. Everybody, you have to include everybody these days. Even, I mean, that's probably you're gonna not have any listeners after this one, but you have to include everybody, even if they can't do what you want. You know what I mean? I'm sure. I am fully sure that the fitness test you and I did in school is not the same.
No,
because people can't do it now. I mean, it's just it is as a society. I think we've gotten lazy.
There's a thing I think when it comes to something about instant gratification, where no one wants to really work towards something and they just want it to happen now. And crossbow is one of those things where it can just happen now, where you can buy it, you can go shoot a little bit, get sighted in, and then go out. Right? It doesn't take a lot of outside of learning where to aim. Maybe dealing with even with today's range finding sites, like it's not that it takes that out of it too, where you don't have to choose your pin, but which pin to which dot on your scope to aim with, or dial it in so that which one to aim with, even with a rangefinder. But it's more of an instant thing to where you can just grab it, go, and actually be successful with it. A bow, not so much. It takes, and when I say bow, I mean I'm talking a vertical bow, a compound bow, a trad bow. Like, they take a little bit of work to, I'm not going to say perfect, but to become proficient with it, to where you can be an effective hunter. And so a lot of people don't want to put time and effort towards that, which that's a whole nother topic. I believe too many people right now use time as an excuse to not be better.
Absolutely. And I mean, everybody's busy now, but you're only as busy as you allow yourself to be. You take a guy that maybe runs a company and he has, something on the side. if he can find time to go shoot his bow,
Mhm.
surely you can.
I think more people will find out they have more time to do things that they would just do it. They're just thinks it's an excuse like, oh, I just don't have time. I don't have time to do that. Like, and I'm not going to name names, but I've had talks with some other people. I'm like, you know, because they're worried about being rushed. I'm like, okay, so don't rush. Like, take 5 minutes. It's better for you to go out and make five good, really good shots than it is to try to cram in a rush session of like 30, 40 arrows. Like, go do what you can. Like, all right, so go shoot five. Make it really good five shots. Focus on that. That you'll get way more out of that than you will trying to rush through 40 shots.
If you shoot your bow 5 to 6 times a week, 5 shots a day,
Mm-hmm.
by season, you will be a great shot.
You'll be an excellent shot. You'll be an excellent, because honestly, I'll put it to you this way: like, even those long sessions, like, you're better off getting yourself to the point where when you go out, and that cold bore or that cold bow challenge is perfect for this, because you get one shot most of the time. Every now and again you get a chance to follow up shot, right? Because the deer's stupid, does something dumb, right? But most of the time you get one, right? One. And to go out there and you get that one arrow off, you got to make sure that one arrow is perfect. So almost, I would say you're better off just having a smaller session of just five, and focusing on five good shots versus 40. And hopefully by the time 40 is done, you're hitting where you want to be.
Yeah, and then what you got to think about too is a new shooter is going to fatigue at about 10 to 20 shots,
Yeah.
and now your form's breaking down. You're plucking your release.
Mm-hmm.
You're whatever, throwing your release hand. Where if you'd have shot 5 shots, put your bow down, did something else, and come back hours later and shoot another 5, you're really better off, because when you're shooting just a couple arrows, you're going to shoot them right. You're going to shoot them with good form. And I'm super guilty of this. When I get out there and I'm just shooting and shooting and shooting, pretty soon I'm not worried about what I'm aiming at. I'm not worried about where my anchor's at. I'm worried about that arrow leaving my bow so I can shoot another one.
Yeah. Yeah. And archery is one of those things where I think you really need to actually get your mind in it. Right. I think a lot of people run into issues when you try to put time constraints on themselves, or or they don't focus. It's one of those things you need to focus on. And honestly, that's why I find archery so like meditative for me, is because it gives me a single thing to think about instead of like off where, the 1,110 things that, a person thinks about a day. But that's hard for some people to do. But I think if you just took that time, and some people, I can't focus for that long. I'm like, well, then just do 4 or 5. Do 4 or 5 and then call it a day. Like, and then if you want to build yourself up, but you really want to be in the moment when you're shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you literally need 5 minutes. So just know that when you get home, if most of the people listening probably can shoot in their backyard, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. So when you get home, know that you're going to go right to the bow rack, pick your bow up, walk outside, shoot 5 arrows, pull them, then hang your bow back up. Just
Mhm.
make it a habit every day. If you make it a habit, you're going to do it every day.
Yep. 21 days to make it a habit. At least that's what they say, anyways. Yeah. At least that's what they say. 21 days. I don't know. I like shooting, but I've been fortunate enough. I have, I devote some time to it, and sometimes I may devote a little bit too much time to it. But I go out and I shoot my bow a lot, and it's fun. It's meditative to me. But it's also one of those things where you're going to have to, at a certain point, depending upon, and I've said this to other people, it's like, you're only going to be great at one or two things, because to be great at something, you're going to have to devote a lot of time and effort to it, right? So you're not going to be great at everything. So you're going to figure out, what do I want to be good at and what I want to be great at. If I want to be great in this, well, you're going to make sacrifices in a couple other things. And if you're not willing to make those sacrifices in those other things, then you really don't want to be great at that one thing. And I'm not telling you that you need to slacken things to do that. Like, but I'm putting that out there. Like, if you want to be great at this certain thing, there's going to be a couple other things you have to make sacrifices on. So maybe it's not going to the lake as much. Maybe it's not this. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not sitting in front of the TV as much, and you're putting a little bit more effort into shooting your bow, or whatever it is you want to be great at. But there's going to be some things you're going to have to sacrifice to get the time and effort to become great at that. So, anyways, that's a very long tangent when we talked about crossbows. So So we'll leave it at that. Crossbows, I get it, and I think you're. There's a lot of people that would agree with you on that statement, and I've heard it on a few other podcasts, and my stance on it is, I don't. I think you and I both agree that we're not going to sit and make fun of somebody because they use a crossbow to hunt with, right?
Right.
Is it what you want to ultimately see? Probably not, but we're not going to bring you down because of it, right? Go out and enjoy it, and you never know, might be inspired to move on to the vertical bow or something. So
Yeah. And it's legal. So I mean it's here, it's legal. So if that's what you do, that's what you do.
right.
But if it wasn't legal, it would be a different story.
It would be a lot different story.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Hunters who break the law, man, we are very quick to throw them under the bus. And that's good, like, because there's enough pressure on us as hunters as it is now, that if you're doing something stupid like that CJ Alexander, you remember that whole debacle
Yeah.
there? Like, trust me, we will throw you under the bus, and we will make fun of you because you've stole from there's enough pressure on us as it is, because there's a lot of people that don't want us to be out doing what we're doing, right? They don't want to see it, they don't want to know the part of it, they don't think we should even be out there involved with the animals that way. But if you're out breaking the law, you're going to get somebody's going to turn you in, especially if it's especially if it's somebody that's in the same culture. We will turn you in for that because we're not for that stuff. So, but let's talk about other things that are legal, and that's baiting in Ohio. So that was another kind of a side conversation that you and I have had this discussion before. The first time you were on the podcast, and even if some of you aren't familiar, he was from episode number 2, I believe, talking about when he built his own trad bow, own arrows and broadhead, and went out and shot a deer with his all made stuff. So same guy. But let's talk about baiting for a second.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never done it. I've killed deer over it. I may kill one over it this year, but I miss the old days when you hunted deer and you didn't hunt corn. Now it's really a matter of who can spend the most money on corn. If you can spend, a couple $100 a week on corn, you're going to have the deer, because the guy that can only buy one bag is not going to have them. Where before, you got to hunt deer on their own terms. You hunted deer where they lived and how they lived. You didn't sit on a corn pile. You hunted deer if you knew there's an acorn tree back here and the deer are coming down this ridge. So you either set up on the acorns or you set up on the travel route to them. Then you hunted actually deer that were not disturbed. You hunted deer doing what deer do. Now deer do what we make them do, basically.
And I think that's only going to get exacerbated because of the way our recent real estate has been going. It's because a lot of large acre properties are getting broken down into smaller parcels. So there are a lot more like 10, 20 acre parcels. And so there's a lot more people that are dividing that in that are wanting their slice of the pie. So the easiest way for them to do it is to get into the baiting aspect and just dropping corn. So I think that's just getting exacerbated because of that's, once again, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole because there's probably a lot more to it because it's a complex issue. Back to my original statement about a complex issue, but I think it's getting worse because of that.
It 100% is, because you used to have, I mean, when I was a kid, teenager, I had probably 300-400 acres to hunt, and I might be the only bow hunter on this whole ridge for a mile. And now you've got more, and every time they sell a piece of ground, it gets broken into 3, 4, 5 parcels. So now you've got really small parcels, and you basically, if you want to shoot a deer, you have to make it come to you.
Yeah. But there's let's put it this way. So let me I kind of introduce you. Have you ever listened to like that MFJJ, Josh Jones, Podium Archer? He runs a podcast with Braden McDonald and then also Tim Connor. He's from out in Washington area, right?
No, I haven't.
So he's talking about baiting. He looks at it this way. He's like, I don't mind baiting because without it, then you're left with the guys who have a lot of money, who have purchased a lot of land, and they have the money to devote into like actual management of the land, like to food plot and like high end stuff, right? Um, and he's like, so baiting to me is like it's kind of like leveling the playing field out for people, for like the average Joe versus someone, so it's not like the king's deer or something. That's how he kind of looked at it. And I guess I kind of see his point towards that. And once again, I don't have a strong opinion for or against baiting. Like if they took it away, okay, whatever. If they brought it, if they leave it in, not it doesn't bother me, right? But I do it, right? It is what it is. Like, I run feeders for the deer. But uh I honestly think it's back to instant gratification though. Like, it's back to like, what can I do like right now? What can I do here? What can I do there? But also I can see what MFJJ is saying though. Like it is kind of it doesn't require a crap ton of money to do it. So you don't need to go buy your own property. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on implements to properly manage it, right? So it is kind of it's that, and I think it's just one of those necessary evils, because I know Michigan now, you're allowed to bait in Michigan now. You
Oh,
have
are you
you
really?
have to buy a tag. You have to buy like an extra license fee that I think you're allowed to bait in Michigan now. Uh, Sounds like Tennessee's picking up on that as well. So I don't know. But we talked about it before. People are doing it anyways,
Yeah, it's gonna happen regardless. I mean, you're
even
just
if it's
gonna
legal
get a
or not.
ticket for it.
If it's legal or not. Michigan, they're doing it in Michigan. Anybody from Michigan would tell you, you go to the local store, they're selling bags of corn. You're not supposed to bait, but however they market it, because I guarantee it's not deer corn. They don't
No,
market it as deer corn.
but everybody knows that's what they're doing
That's
with
what
it.
it is. Well,
I mean, it happened here. It happens here on public occasionally. A few years ago, there was some guys from Michigan that had a boatload of corn at Clendenning,
yep,
and their boat got swamped, and unfortunately, they didn't make it. But
yeah,
that's what they were doing. They were baiting on public.
yeah. And that's was the point I was going to talk about. So it happens, and it's unfortunate for those two guys, and it's sad for the families, and I to this day I don't know how that. I mean, I understand how the boat got swamped, but I don't understand what happened that they end up drowning, because Clendening, it's not that wide of a lake.
No, it's not. I don't know if they couldn't swim or if I'm assuming the cold got to him, hypothermia
Yeah,
got to him.
which is sad. You don't want to see. I mean, I know some people are going to be like, well, they're breaking the law. They got what they deserve. Like, I think that's a little bit, I don't think that
That's
punishment matches the crime on that one,
that's pretty harsh. I
That's,
mean,
that's pretty harsh. Like, hey, here's your ticket, but not that, man.
yeah.
I was working as a ranger when that happened. So I was part of the crew that was out looking for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was not good.
no, it's not. It's unfortunate. I do feel bad for the families and stuff. But so when that happened, it was really windy that day though.
It
Like
was
we had some cool,
extremely.
so that probably didn't help their whole thing, because well, that was the year. So that day I went hunting. Somehow managed to stay it strapped to my tree, but I went hunting and I took a shot at I had a really big buck come in. Like the wind died down there towards the evening and I snort wheezed him in. So if you guys watch any of our videos, um well, he is on video. I do have a video of that hunt, but also he's part of the intro to my videos for Kountryfried Outdoors. I ended up hitting him low and in the brisket. So when you said you shot, when we were out on a 3D course, like, oh, that's a little far for, we ain't finding that deer. I said, yeah, I know. I've put one there before. That was that
Yeah.
deer. So that was that same day too that happened. Oh, all right. Well, we covered your Instagram post pretty well now.
I'll be getting a lot of hate mail here.
That's all right. You can find him on Instagram, Billy Dryden. Go follow him on Instagram. Let him know how you feel. I got to the point. No, you know what? You say whatever you want. Please comment. I don't care. You can comment bad. You can comment whatever you want, because it's still engagement and it brings attention to the site. So you do whatever you want, right? I'll take it. So let's talk a little bit about your recent trip that you did. What was it? Pennsylvania? No, yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So you went over to it's a traditional only shoot.
Yep.
The acronym is ETAR, right?
Yep. It is.
Um, Now they did. Did they used to host that down in West Virginia, down in Pipestem, or they still do? That was just a different one.
No, that's a different one. So ETAR has always been in Pennsylvania. It's on a ski resort. It stands for Eastern Traditional Archery Rendezvous.
Okay.
This is the 36th year of it.
Okay.
Um, Pipestem had Trad Worlds, is what was
Oh,
down
okay.
there.
All right.
But ETAR is it's pretty much the mecca for trad bow shooters. Anybody that is anybody will be there. Guys like, I don't know if you would know who Tom Klum is, but he owns Rocky Mountain Specialty Gear. He's an archery coach.
Okay.
He's there. I mean, just tons of people. You might know who Brody Turner is.
Yep.
His dad is Joel Turner.
Yep.
He's there. Actually, he actually worked with a buddy of mine there.
Really?
It was super cool. Yeah. Yeah, he through another guy that my buddy had talked to, Matt Zernzak, said, "Hey, Joel, you got to shoot with Bob," and he was actually helping my buddy Bob with some of his target panic.
Nice.
Which is awesome. So yeah, it's if it's not the largest traditional shoot in the United States, it's the largest east of the Mississippi. Last year, I think it was 8,000 shooters.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of vendors, and it's just a great time. No scorecards. They do have one competition called the Eagle Eye. You got to shoot wood arrows, and there's a dot about, I don't know, 1.5 inches round on a target. And you have to hit it to qualify, and then whoever hits it in the shoot down wins.
Okay. So you got to do it twice then?
Yeah, so you have to qualify,
Yep.
and then at a certain time, I think it's Saturday, you have to go back, and everybody that qualified has to shoot off.
Okay. The same yardage or?
No, they mix it up.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, look at them being sneaky.
Oh, yeah.
Look at them being sneaky. So this is the mecca of the trad world. How many years you say this has been going on? 30, 35?
30. This was a 36th year.
36th year. Is this your first year going to? Have you gone to it before?
No, this is, I think, the third year I've been.
Has it been pretty much been the same every time, or has it been?
Yeah, it's been pretty much the same. I forget how many vendors they have. I think it's about 50 vendors. They've got a huge tent.
Okay.
And then I think it's 6 or 7 3D courses.
Okay. So let's dive into it. So, all right. So you're interested in going to ETAR. How do you get there? What do you do?
So literally all you have to do is show up, pay your money to shoot and camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can camp on site. They have a huge field up by the road. And then there's camping down near the lodge, but unless you get there like Monday of that week, you're not going to get one of the primo spots. I mean, They're going to be taken up. But you just show up, pay your money, set up camp, and there's people that will get an Airbnb. We always camp, so we're there. And then probably as much fun as anything is at night. You just go from camp to camp and talk to people. And like in the trad world, the people that like the big names like would be like your Levi Morgan. They're all there.
Mm-hmm.
They're camping. All the vendors are there camping. You just walk around and talk. You can talk to anybody, and it's crazy because everybody there is super nice. There's never been like any trouble. There's never been a fight there.
Nice. So how is it a week long? How long does it get around for?
So technically it's Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
But they do open one course on Wednesday. You have to pay like $5 to shoot it.
Okay. And so you show up and basically, no pre-register. Well, can you pre-register if you wanted to, or is it just show up and
pay at the gate?
Pay at the gate and go. All right. So you show up. Does it cost any extra to camp?
So it's like that's a great question. I don't know if a day pass is cheaper. Every time I've been, we've just stayed either Thursday through Sunday or Wednesday through Sunday. It's like $78 for the whole weekend if you get there Wednesday.
And that gives
camping and shooting.
That gives you access to all the courses, right?
Yep.
That's that's actually pretty good. You go to, I think TAC is almost like $100 for like 2 courses or like 2 days. Cool. So I mean, what are you looking at, like numbers wise? How many people you say was there?
I think last year there was 8,000. I haven't heard the number this year, but there's almost 800 people that camped.
Okay. Ooh, that's a lot of people.
Well, yeah, 800 people that camp.
Nice. That's a lot of people.
It is, and I think it was. They said it was busier this year, but I don't know if that's true or not. But it's the only 3D course you go to that you might have to wait to shoot a target. The amount of people is unbelievable.
Right. So when you guys go through with your group, is it one of those ones where you guys shoot singly, or do you get a few people up on the line and shoot?
It really depends on the target.
Okay.
Typically, we just all shoot the stake, at least on the woods courses and stuff. But if it's in a field or something, there was one last year. I think there was like 6 of us shooting at an elk in a field.
Okay.
Just all shooting at the same time.
Nice. So what type of distances are you looking at?
Well, it can be anything from there, from like 12 to they've got a downhill shot that was 40 yards.
Okay. That's a pretty decent shot for a trad bow.
That's a poke. I mean,
That's a poke.
That's a long way, but occasionally you get lucky, and I hit it really good this year.
Hey, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, I blew an arrow up last year on it though.
So, did you get to shoot all the courses then?
We didn't shoot. No, there was one we didn't shoot this year. We shot them all last year.
Okay. Do you have favorite?
Probably the mountain. It's gonna take the longest because you're gonna run into people and you're gonna have to wait. But it is literally, you go up a ski slope and you go up, and then you get on this like road. It's all kind of rocky, and then there'll be a 40-yard uphill there.
Okay.
Onto a deer, or I think it was a goat this year. But you work your way all the way up to the top, up past the ski slopes, and go down this big ridge, and it's all big woods up there, and it's just gorgeous.
What part of Michigan? What part of Pennsylvania is this?
So it is in Morris, Pennsylvania. I can't really tell you. It's somewhat central, but it's below halfway down the state,
Okay.
if I recall correctly. If you just look up Morris, Pennsylvania, it's the resort is Ski Sawmill.
Okay. All right. Because I know TAC is at Seven Springs. I think you and I were talking a little bit about that. It's like, well, you said it was a ski resort. I'm like, was it Seven Springs? Like, no, it was this one. Like, oh.
Yeah, Ski Sawmill. And they started this originally so they wouldn't have to lay their people off in the summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they started the archery shoot, and it's old enough that they used to make their own 2D targets. They would make like a Perrine style target out of this dense 2-inch foam, and that's what they'd do all summer till the shoot came. They would build targets, paint targets.
Yeah. Well, you think you got 8,000 people there? I mean, that's a good bit of money.
Oh yeah, it is.
Hey, you know what? Kudos for them for thinking outside the box to be able to keep your people employed. During the summer months to keep that place active. So, yeah, that sounds like almost like that'd be like the TAC, but for trad shooters.
It pretty much is. I mean, from what I know of TAC, it's about the same kind of thing, and that thing is all about hanging out with your buddies, hanging out with people you only might see once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Shooting with them, and you're going to meet all kinds of cool people there that you've probably never heard of that have done stuff that's amazing.
Yeah. So what was your favorite target there?
Well, that's a tough one. Probably that 40-yard downhill axis deer, because I 12 ranged it. If I'd have missed it, it would have not been my favorite.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I would have missed it. I hated that thing.
Yeah, they had a mountain lion there last year, and I missed it and blew up an arrow.
So I hated it last year. This year it's my favorite.
Actually, the other one that we didn't get to shoot, it started raining, and we went and ate. It was like the last target on the mountain course. They have an elk at probably 30 yards, and then they have a barrel that you sit on like you're riding a horse.
Oh.
That's probably my favorite target.
You know what? I think I seen a video where somebody was shooting that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That'd be cool.
It is. It's actually really cool.
Is it set up on like I don't remember. Was it just a barrel sitting there, or was it setting up on something where it moved a little bit?
No, it was just setting on like kind of a X-brace stand.
Okay, that would be kind of cool. So you probably seen all kinds of bows there at that. So was there any like real exotic bows that were there? Like when I say that, I guess like Not what you would think your actual like traditional bow, like you're running the mill traditional bow. I'm talking about maybe somebody brought in some weird like war bow or something.
Nothing like nothing really wild like that, but there's a bunch of barebow guys there that shoot metal risers with clickers and the whole nine.
Okay.
And there's always some bows there that are just absolutely gorgeous that I'll probably never be able to afford.
Oh, name one. Which one?
Oh, there's blacktails. I think originally somebody new bought blacktail and they're pretty reasonable again, but like a blacktail
Mm-hmm.
be like 4 years ago was the base bow was gonna be like $4,000.
Woo.
And then like a Schaefer silver tip, I think their
Yeah.
base is 2,500.
And here we are with the compound bows complaining that our bows are $1,200.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually a guy in kind of southern Ohio, down towards Nashport, he's building me a custom recurve now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'll show you pictures here when we're done.
Awesome.
I should have it another week or two.
Now, is this something is this going to be reserved for like special shoots, or are you actually going to try to take this from the woods?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna kill a deer with it. I have a slightly sneaking hunch that I'm gonna shoot it for a couple weeks and pick up the old trusty.
Okay.
It's just
There's just something about the confidence you have in something like that.
oh, absolutely. That bow is that's the only well, that's the bow I've shot the most for the past probably 10 years.
Yeah. Was that the one you had me shooting out here? I wasn't allowed to touch that one.
No, that's the one that I had to load the arrows for Josh. When
Okay.
he blew his up. He was on arrow loading probation.
Well, Billy was finally able to talk. We had to shoot a trad bow today, so after we were done shooting the 3D course, we went out to the bag targets or the block targets, and I flung a couple of them, and I could probably see myself getting really wrapped up in that world really quick. So
Yeah, it's you take a guy that shot a compound and you give him that and you take him and let him shoot, and all of a sudden shooting becomes really fun again. It's not you, you take a compound and you expect to hit the 11 ring.
yeah,
With that thing, if you hit the 8 ring, you're happy. And
right.
then as you progress, if you hit the 8, it's okay, but you really wanted to hit that 10 ring.
Yeah. Well, where I'm at right now, just because if I just hit the target, I'm okay.
Yeah, and then it'll progress to the 8 ring, and
Right.
then
Uh, you know, so what the bow I was shooting today, what poundage was that again?
45 at 28 inches, almost unless they're custom built. All trad bows are weighed at 28 inches.
Yeah. And I'm definitely more than 28 inches on a draw. And I noticed that, like, because I shoot a 70-pound compound bow. So anyone who's not, I'm probably talking to people who already know this and they're like, why are you discussing this? Because we don't need to know that, because we already know that. You're just wasting our time. But in the event that you've not experienced this, so I shoot a 70-pound compound bow. And so shooting that bow, at 45 pounds at 28, what do you think I'd be hitting at the 29? I mean, you can't add that much more, but
You're typically 2.5 to 3 pounds
yeah.
per
So
inch.
so I mean, I don't know if I'm even hitting 50 pounds. I'll tell you what, there's a big difference. You can draw it. There's no problem drawing it, but once you kind of start to get back towards that anchor, that's where issues start to arise.
Yeah,
So you get used to it.
if you were gonna get serious about it, I would have you build like buy a 30 to 35 pounder.
Yeah.
Get your form down, and then the nice thing is that bow you were shooting, they had them on sale. I don't know if they still do, but they had them on sale for $120. And then so you buy a 35 pounder, get your form dialed in, and get to where you're ready to bump up. Another $80-$90, you get a heavier set of limbs. So I mean, affordability wise, it's very affordable compared to a compound.
Yeah. I don't know. It ain't gonna be this year, but I'm maybe. maybe you'll get me doing it one of these years.
Yeah, if you do, you'll love it.
I had fun shooting it that way, like started dialing a little bit there towards the end of it, but I would really like to get to the point where I could actually get to where I think my natural anchor would be.
Yeah.
Because there, by the time I was stopping, and it was not remotely close to where I wanted it to be. But
Yeah. If you got, I'm confident that if you got one that fit and was the right weight, got some arrows that were flying pretty good, that you'd pick it up pretty quick.
yeah, I know it's one of those bugs that some people, once they catch it, it's hard to get rid of. So we'll see.
Yeah, it is.
We'll
But
see.
even if even if you shot it, got very proficient,
Mm-hmm.
and picked it up to shoot does after you shot your buck, I think you would enjoy that,
Yeah.
and it brings a new challenge. You shoot your first doe with it, it's an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
It's not like shooting a doe with a compound. For me, after doing it, it's cool. It's in the last one I shot, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and then I was like, now I want to go shoot one on my recurve.
Right. Well, it just refresh. It's a different look, Sometimes some things that get stale. I get that. Like you shoot a compound bow long enough, and you've been hunting long enough. Um, just that it's just, I don't want to say it's automatic, but it's about as automatic as it's going to get, and it can get stale. I understand that, especially if you are someone who does shoot a lot of deer during the year. Like if you're the guy who just shoots one deer, then okay, then maybe it might not get stale for you. But those that are shooting a lot, like okay, I guess it gets stale for you. So yeah, picking up something a little bit different. That's why I went gun hunting last year. It was just a little bit different, something different, and I had a blast. Like I haven't shot a deer that wasn't work related with a gun. It's been a long time, and I did. Last year I shot a doe with the straight wall, and it was a blast. So it
Yeah.
was just something a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, it is different, and I think if you tried it, you would like it, and
Mm-hmm.
then you would be mad at me because you want to shoot your recurve all the time.
Right, and I got compound bows collecting dust. Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I only know a few people that have done it and then went back to a compound full time. Typically, once it bites you,
Yeah.
and you're there. But they're more fun to shoot because, to me, you go to a compound shoot and you're up there. You're mad if your buddy makes some noise. But a trad shoot, you shoot it and you hit it in the 8 instead of the 10, and then you guys are laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not, you want to hit that 10, but if you hit it in the 8, then it's okay. But you want to, next one, you're going to hit in the 10.
Yeah. Well, me, if it's well, we look at compound bow. Eventually, get to a certain point where if you don't hit the 10, you're irate.
Yeah, you're extremely mad and you just want to chuck your bow because it's 30 yards and you hit it and you barely missed the 10.
Yeah, yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah, it's, if you hit the 10 with a trad bow, you're, at least in the beginning, like
Mm-hmm.
on a normal course, I expect that I'm going to hit it. I don't always do. I might be on, or like I shot a couple shots today that weren't the greatest. I expect to hit it, but if I don't, it's not that big a deal.
Right. No, I get that. I get that, and that would probably be refreshing for a lot for me as well. That different as a mindset, because if I don't hit the 10, or at least wasn't close to it, I get really mad.
Yeah.
I start to get frustrated. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? At the compound side of it, and hopefully I don't become like that with the trad bow though. I don't know. I could be a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to things. If things aren't going the way I want it to, I can get really frustrated really quick. Um, I haven't thrown anything. I usually just, all right, I'm done for the day, and I walk away.
You'd probably get there, but I think it would take you longer because you're working to try to master it.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely something that might be on the horizon. I got enough irons in the in the fire as it is right now. Deal with the compound bows, and having fun with that, and shooting those. But maybe one of these years, I said that last time you were on the podcast. Maybe one of these years we'll pick one up. But at least this year you got me to shoot one. All right, so you've accomplished something.
I was wondering if he was going to. No, I don't think I want to.
No, I listen. I'm always up to doing it, and it's worth it. It's worth a shot of taking, going out there and doing it, and it's fun. Like I don't have anything against it, and I think like you said, if I got into something that fit me and was at the draw weight I need to be, so where allow me to get into the anchor I want, and then progress from there, it would probably be something I would fall in love with for sure. Anyways, back to Etar.
Oh yeah, it's just a great time. You'll get to hang out with people that you may only get to see once a year. There's guys there that I probably won't see till next year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the trad world, there's guys that are there that are like I said, would be like your Levi Morgan or whoever this is a
Right.
big name. I know Levi's kind of a big name
Yeah.
in the deal, but and it's just a good time. I always end up wandering around from camp to camp talking to people at night.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, drinking a few adult beverages, but
Yeah.
that's why you stay there, so you don't have
That's
to
why you stay,
leave.
right?
Yeah, you can just walk back to camp. But it it's and I've never met a person that I was walked away thinking, man, I hate that guy there. It's very like minded group of people.
Yeah.
So it's just a good time, and it seems like I always end up shooting with somebody I've never shot with, and
Mm-hmm.
you all have a good time and cut up and laugh, and it it's amazing. So we went Wednesday, and it always seems like you were there like a day or two. It goes by so fast that when you leave, you're like, where in the world did this 4 days, 5 days go?
Yeah. So what was one of the most challenging targets there?
That's probably that downhill axis
The
deer.
downhill axis
Yeah.
deer. It was not only was it my favorite, but it was the most it was the most
It was
challenging too.
probably, yeah. I mean, you're 40 yards on a very steep downhill.
Yeah. So what I guess if somebody was wanting to go and they've never been to it before, what are some things you would tell them? What is some advice you would give them about going to Etar?
Uh, I would personally camp there. If you got a camper, that's fine. If you got a
Mm-hmm.
tent, and just go and don't be afraid to talk to people. That everybody there will talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new to shooting a trad bow, you're probably thinking, oh, I don't want to go because I'm not very good. Nobody there is going to give you a hard time. Everybody there is going to help you. Joel Turner's there, which he does the Iron Mine stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got the guy from Rocky Mountain Specialty Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Clum's
Yep.
there. And they're just normal guys. If they see you, they might say, hey, do you care if I tell you what I think you should do? And they'll give you advice that most people would pay for.
Right.
And yeah, just go, just have a good time. Don't get super upset if you're new to it and you're missing targets. Go and don't be afraid to ask somebody to shoot with them, because I've never seen anybody there that wouldn't let you shoot with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just go have a good time and go learn and just show up. You could not know anybody when you show up, and by the time you leave, you might know 10 people.
Yeah. It sounds like a good time. And I think it's also I think why events like this are doing so well with the archery community, because of that mindset of just going and having a good time. There's not that stigma like you would get at a competition where, you've got now, granted, I have heard that a lot of the competitive shooters are more than happy to talk to you and to give you some pointers if you want them, right? So it's not like there's like a chip, well, most of them. I'm sure there's probably some that have chips on their shoulders and stuff, right? Because it's competition is what it is. But you take the average person there that's not as intimidating. Then you just go and you have a good time,
Yep.
and it's just more of a culture thing than it is an actual, like, I don't know, just a specific, like, it's not a target thing. It's a culture thing. You go there, yeah, you're shooting, and that's why most of us are here. But also, it's the camaraderie that you're getting from that can't camping there or just hanging out with everybody throughout the shoot and talking to people. And I think that's why tack is the way it is and as popular it is because of that. And also, all the other shoots that are like that. Yeah, your local 3D shoots, those are fun, those are great, right? But everyone's going around trying for score. I get that. And but you get these larger events, it's a huger culture, and especially ones that allow you to stay on site. Man, there's a lot of valuable information you can learn there, at least some great connections you can make there.
Yeah. And realistically, most of your connections, like you'll make some connections here and there. Most of them are made around a campfire at night, swapping stories,
Hmm.
laughing, having a good time.
Yeah. And those are the memories you take back with you. And I think that's honestly that's what I miss about gun season in Ohio, because gun season's not the same as it used to be here, right? But I got away from it because it just wasn't the same, and that was because the camaraderie side of it. Like, we'd go back to, the Rush fire station out there, right? We go back there and we were sharing stories of the hunt in the morning. We came back for lunch, and then at the end of the day, we'd stop back there and we were all getting together talking, and then we'd be there first thing in the morning for breakfast before we went out on the hunt. And as that died down, as that died away, or that wasn't an option anymore, like, it kind of lost its glory with me, and I kind of got away from gun hunting. So that camaraderie, that deer camp, or that camp mindset, there's a lot to be said for that.
There is, and unfortunately, Ohio, I don't think has ever had. We had, gun season was always a big deal. There's always a group, the family got together to gun
Mhm.
hunt, which was awesome. But I know people in Pennsylvania, they had actual deer camps. Like they would maybe live near Pittsburgh or some other city,
Yeah.
and they would literally drive to their camps, which would be just small pieces of ground on that bordered national forest, and the whole family would go up there and spend the whole week at
Mhm.
deer camp, and we're losing that, which is it. I don't like that aspect of it, but it is what it is. Nobody really has a deer camp. The PA deer camps are fading. The Michigan ones are. There are people that hold them together, and actually, a couple buddies of mine, we went and had our own deer camp last year. Went and stayed on a piece of public,
Mhm.
got a campsite, hunted. My buddy killed a small doe, but I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great time, and that's what it was about. It was about hanging out with your buddies,
Mhm.
hunting, and then coming back and hanging out at camp,
Mhm.
eating and having a few drinks, and just having a good time.
With that being said, no promises on this, but if I can get something put together, because I don't know if you've seen in the regulations, you're now allowed to shoot two does on public ground now.
I absolutely did not see that. That's actually good. That's why I've been kind of doing. I've not much, but I've done a little door knocking because I'd like to shoot more than three.
Mhm.
I mean, that's I when I have it, that's what I eat.
Right.
So, no, I didn't see that. That's actually awesome.
So it's bumped up. You can shoot two does now on public land. In that the deer management tags are open statewide, if I remember correctly. And that includes public ground too, because the state of Ohio wants us to shoot more does. Like they're pushing for that. And if you're interested in listening to it, and I'm going to plug it here in the one or two releases. I have a interview with Dr. Tonkovich from um, ODNR, and he's the deer program administrator. So I've got I got like almost a 2 hour episode with him coming up. We talk a lot about these things. So if you're interested, if anybody listening, if you're interested to catch that out, it's coming. It'll be almost like a pre deer season, like get ready type episode to come out. So, but they are wanting to shoot more does. But anyways, back to what I was saying. If I can put it together, would you be interested in? We'll probably be down in Southern Ohio. I'm not going to say where, but down somewhere south on public ground. If I can put some things together to kind of join in on like a little deer camp like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know when it's going to be. I don't want it to be during the rut because honestly, I don't want to deal with that. I'm looking more to like an off season kind of time. Not the opener. Maybe like during like an October-ish. And maybe even depending on the weather, maybe even December. I don't know. Like if the weather's not terrible, because Ohio weather is a little weird right now. But if it's not terrible, but and let's see if we can't put something together because I got someone else that'd be interested in doing the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
that would be awesome. And that's what we did. We just took our tents, got a campsite,
mhm.
and camped. You know, it, my buddy was really upset because they had the fire ban last year, if you remember, because we were so dry.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, it's not going to be the same without a campfire." And literally the day we showed up,
Mhm.
they had lifted the fire ban.
Now, would you still be able to, let's say, if you brought in like one of those enclosed fireplaces, could you? I think you could still burn in those, couldn't you?
I don't know. They were really weird about it, but thankfully it was lifted literally when we checked in
Yeah,
to the campground. They said, "Oh yeah, you can have a fire now."
nice. Well, if you go with me, we're probably going to be actually camping on like federal land, like
Oh,
more dispersed style camping.
That'd be all right too.
So if you're all right with that, it'll probably be like a long weekend because I don't know how long I want to sit there and stink.
Yeah. Yeah. Baby wipes are the key.
Oh, dude, man, I'll tell you what, man, I love those things. Look into these. If you get on Amazon, type in Epic Wipes, and these things are like baby wipes on steroids. They're freaking huge. I love them. Like, I take like a handful of them with when I go to Colorado, in the backcountry, and I wash off with those, man. It's fantastic. Most people, oh, I want my shower. I can't. You're in the backcountry for a week, and those things are like amazing to wipe down with.
Yeah. Yeah. When we go
So
to Georgia, sometimes there's no showers, and a baby white bath is a lot better than no bath at all.
yeah. So, but yeah, but Epic Wipes, and they're kind of, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's going on with the company, but you can find them on Amazon. You just gotta do a little bit of looking, but they're there. I love them. I might send you home with one. Actually, I got a couple here. I mean, the packet's it's thick, but I'll tell you what, the thing's like this big.
Just like a towel.
It's like a towel, but
Yeah.
it's a baby wipe.
That'd be awesome.
It's got like witch hazel and stuff in it, so it's pretty cool. I like it. So maybe that's something we can look forward to. So we talked a little bit about season. You got anything else coming up for season?
No, not really. Actually, being that we can shoot 2 does on public, that actually changes my plans a little bit. We're gonna do that deer camp on public, so I wasn't probably gonna hunt the opening weekend because I didn't want to shoot one
Mm-hmm.
and then not be able to shoot a doe
Right.
during the deer camp. But if we can shoot 2, then I'm absolutely going to go hunt some public
Mm-hmm.
opening weekend, and then I'm gonna leave my private land spots alone until it's time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I end up I don't get too worried about that. And I talked a little bit about this with somebody the other, I think on another episode. Because people, that's something that Tonkovich talked about. Like, because I brought it up, I said, hey, you guys are getting into this like the OLAP or OLARP, whatever you guys call it, the Ohio land, Ohio hunters and landowner, kind of little access program you're putting together. What if we took it another step to where now there'd be properties that wouldn't have joined because it was just open if it was restricted to like antlerless deer only. They're more worried about shooting their bucks. You think that would never work because they don't want you tramping through there and scaring their bucks away. I'm like, I get what you're saying there, but here's my thing. Like, so I'm not going to tell you where I hunt. Y'all don't need to know. You know where I hunt, but I've got a really good deer showing up. And there's not only did I shoot a doe out of the area that he's coming to, but someone else did. There's a couple of us that shot does out of there. He's still coming there. So I don't know. I get there might be some that might be skittish. That mean really, really, really skittish. But I think as long as you don't act like an idiot, you can do other things there. Like I think some people are a little bit too nervous about that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your property too. If it's 10 acres and you blow him off 2 or 3 times, he's not coming back.
Right.
But if it's 100 acres, he's probably just going to move where he beds.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, you're probably right there, and that does make sense. That does open a different perspective I wasn't thinking about, because this one is a little bit bigger of it's not a huge property, but it's a little bit bigger than 10 acres. We'll just put it that way. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that deer camp sounds like a good time. It would be a good time. I'm sure it'd be fun.
Yeah, I think because I'm not going out west to hunt this year, and I think I would at least like to get away for a little bit and do a long weekend or something.
I've been kicking around the idea. We've been going to Georgia to hog hunt, which seems like Georgia's been working on the hogs pretty hard. They've been kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about not doing the hog hunt. I did 2 hog hunts last year in Georgia, not doing those and just hunting West Virginia this year.
So my buddy kicked the idea of going to Kentucky this year. I'm like, listen, I don't know if I can swing it. Like, if you start looking at the out of state tags, I'm like, I don't know if I can swing it this year. Like, we can do something locally, I'm game. But going out of state this year, I don't think is in the cards for me.
Yeah, that's why I looked at West Virginia, because it is cheaper.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky's what, like 320, 340.
I think by the time you had everything, you're close to $400.
Yeah, you can buy in West Virginia. You can buy a deer and a bear tag for like $300.
Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, I think you're about 175 for a license and a deer tag, so it's
Yeah.
not. And if you're not afraid to camp,
Yeah.
you can get by for almost nothing on camping. You can do that stuff cheap. Like our Georgia trips, we always camp.
Yeah.
Now we would pay to stay at a campground that had a shower house, which was nice, but
Right.
you can do that kind of stuff cheap. I think we were 250, 280
Mm-hmm.
for the entire trip to Georgia for 3 days. That was
Nice.
license and everything.
Yeah, I'm back to our idea of us. I'm not opposed to staying at a campground if that's what we want to do. Like I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Generally, when I go down to this area, we stay. We pack in and we stay where we stay with our tents. So, but
yeah, which I mean would be good. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the campground thing. I just threw that out there.
Mm.
But usually, like I said, the spot we go to, where I've been to a couple times, most of the time just to get away. Like it's getting away. But we pretty much just pack in, and then we we'll stay in our tents, and then we'll head out and go do whatever we're doing, whether it's turkey hunting or just meandering.
Yeah. The thing is if you're all camping together, then it's still a deer camp.
Right.
You're still coming back,
Right.
talking about what you saw, talking about that to me is where it's at. You're having that experience. Even though you're doing it separate, you're sharing it at camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. We might have to be a little bit more serious about that. That might actually be a thing that happens this year, for sure. I think there'd be probably a couple people that'd be involved. We would like to do that. Plus, with all the you like to hunt mobilely. I got the saddle set up, so it wouldn't be that hard to get into that.
No, it wouldn't be. And I mean, I would say 70% of the time now I'm climbing every tree, every hunt, and then taking it down and climbing the next day.
Yep.
So it wouldn't be a problem at all. I could.
No. I do not have very many sets that are pre-hung anymore. Some of them are just big ladder stands that we just put in. Most of the time, other people hunt them. It's not me.
Yeah,
that's hunting them. So I don't know. Maybe that's something we need. Maybe that's something we need to do.
I think so. We should look at it for sure. I mean, when we did that deer camp last year, it was awesome. Like I said, my buddy shot a small doe, but it was just awesome. We got to track a deer. We got to haul a deer out in the boat, which was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Then got to hang out at camp. Had some other friends come out and hang out at camp with us, and
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a good time. Just get away for a little bit too. Was there anything else you want to talk about, man?
I think I made enough people mad.
Oh, you sure you don't want to talk about? I don't know. Let's see what else can we throw out there. Well, you pretty much covered your posts.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything that makes people mad. We can talk about laser range finding sites.
Oh yeah, that was on there too, right?
Yeah, that technically was.
That was another one that was on there too. My bat phone's ringing. That's my work phone. It can ring because these mics don't pick it up anyways.
Oh,
they might a little bit, but it'll be all right.
No, that's about it. I mean, there is a point where when is enough technology enough? Where's the the tipping point? Like, are we gonna have like a laser guided arrow to someday? Because it's really not that far away.
We're not that far from that.
We've got laser guided missiles. We're always 20 years behind the government. They've had that for a while.
Yeah. No, it's some of that might already exist. We just don't know about it.
Yeah. So is that still archery hunting?
That that's there. That's a deep philosophical question. There is it still archery at that point in time? And I think it really depends who you talk to. Your purist, I think, will probably tell you no. Like your Pope and Young advocates and stuff, because they don't allow crossbow on their books. At least that last time I heard. I don't know if they've changed their mind on that. Probably not. They don't allow crossbows on there. I think there is a thin line between what you're talking about, but also trying to improve to where we're a little bit more efficient. And I think we all want to be a little bit more efficient. I think to a point for the sake of the animal, right? We want our efficiency to be better to where we're less likely to have oops a daisy, and accidentally wounded animal or something, right? We've all been in that situation where we've made the best shot that at least we thought we made a great shot and it just didn't work out, right? Something happened, right? And I think as we build the efficiency of our techniques, of our hunting implements and things, that's less likely to happen. Does it still happen? Yes, it does. But it's less likely to happen as our efficiency goes up. The states like it when our efficiency goes up because it's easier for them to manage their herds, you know. Um, but at the same time, though, there is a point though to where it becomes so easy that it begins to ruin the meaning or the idea behind all of it. I guess if you look at it as a purist.
Yeah, and I don't know where that bordering line is, but it's someplace. But I don't know how to say this without really making people mad.
Come on.
But crossbows have kind of ruined gun season because all of your gun hunters have left the gun season
Yeah.
and now hunt with a crossbow.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you would hear in gun season, it was like really not a big deal to hear 100 shots in a day.
Yeah.
And now if you hear 5, that's a lot.
Yeah.
The gun season is not as prevalent as it used to be.
Right.
The gun hunters probably love it because the deer move during the day still. They're not there. It's not like it used to be where you had to move deer.
Right.
But it's not the same as it was. And I guess we're always reaching back to how it used to be.
Right.
Those of us that lived it, and the younger kids don't know any different. So they don't know what it was like when we were young. And you had if you were a bow hunter, it's kind of a big deal.
Right.
And if you killed a deer with a bow, even when I was a kid, if you killed a buck with a bow, it's kind of a big deal. You'd probably get your picture in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see 1,000, 140, 150, 160 deer
Mm-hmm.
during hunting season on Instagram, where before it was a big deal. And now it's kind of, you're desensitized to it. And then you got people that have never killed a buck saying, well, I'm not going to kill less than a 130.
Yeah.
Where when we were a kid, I mean, if it had 6 points, we were probably going to shoot it.
Yeah. I was listening to somebody talk, it was Don Higgins actually, and I was listening to him on a podcast, and he said it's not that he said it because he's true. It's the fact that this is true. The fact of shooting a big deer is not that big of a deal anymore.
It's to an extent it's not. Like really big deer, if somebody shot a 200 20 years ago, absolutely unheard of. Like you were probably getting a call from Outdoor Life or Field and Stream, and they wanted to do an article. Now it happens so often that it's normal because we are more efficient hunters.
Yep.
And more people are passing that 130, 140 inch deer to get those bigger deer.
Mm-hmm.
But locally it's harder to do because you have such small parcels.
Yeah.
It's and especially in Iowa, that where you have big tracts of land, it's really not a big deal because if you've got 1,000 acres, you can grow 180 or 190.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of not shooting that deer before he's 5.5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Like he really left this bad taste in my mouth. Not like I said, not because he said it because he was bragging, but because I knew what he said was true.
Oh, it's absolutely true.
And a 150, no one cares.
No, and it used to be if you shot a 150. I remember the first buck I ever shot with a bow, ever, was a 160, and it was a big deal. It was 20 some years ago. It was a big deal, and now, like, yeah, that's a great buck. But I have a buddy that's killed a 200.
Sadly, somebody would look at you that 160 said, "Why couldn't you give him another year?"
Yeah.
What are you saying?
It's still a big deal, but we're so inundated every day on Facebook, Instagram, the internet that you think it's normal,
right?
If you kill a one, there's guys that kill 130s and they don't want to post them because somebody's gonna be like, oh, should have gave that in another year.
Listen, none of these deer are over 140. Like all of them have all scored under 140, and I wouldn't think twice of shooting them again today.
No, and I am not so much a score guy.
Right.
I want to shoot a 4.5-year-old.
Right.
That's what I want to do. If you kill a 3-year-old, and you're happy, that's awesome.
Right.
If you shoot it and then you make a bunch of excuses, that doesn't really jive with me,
No, it
because
doesn't with me either.
you shouldn't have shot it because you're not actually happy with it.
Right.
If you shoot a 3.5-year-old, some kid shoots a 2-year-old, and he's like, "Hey, this is my first buck." I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome."
Right. Absolutely.
If you shoot a 2-year-old and you're like, "Well, I don't think he was going to get bigger," you probably shouldn't have shot him, because you're just making excuses
Right.
now, because you shot a deer that you didn't really want to shoot, but you did just because you wanted to kill a buck.
Or is they making the excuse because they're afraid of what's going to be coming down the line when someone gets a hold of it, on Instagram or Facebook or something. They're already just coming up with excuses.
I really think that depends on the person, because some
Yeah.
of them aren't. I know some of them are never going to get posted, so
Hmm.
they're telling you that because there's an excuse. Well, this or that, or just shoot what you're happy with, and
Yeah.
if you're truly happy with that deer, then I'm happy for you.
Yeah. That's the way I feel. If you're happy with the deer, then we're all happy for you, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's more offensive to me, like you just said, where you shoot like, well, I wasn't really going to shoot him, or you just already the excuses start to come out, man.
Oh yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
like that's kind of offensive thing, and I don't want to be that type of like, oh, woke culture trigger, no safe space. I'm not saying that. Like it's that kind of irritates me more when you do come up with excuses for that. Another one that I really hate when I hear people say, like, well, it was just a doe. What do you mean it was just a doe? Like, have you ever like actually tried to hunt like a true mature doe?
It's
That's
tough.
it's probably 10 years old. Like they're not easy to kill. They know every tree stand. They know everything about the property you're hunting. They've been there forever. They've raised multiple fawns, like, and kept them alive. They know a thing or two. They're not easy to kill. And I understand, for the most part. I get, you could probably walk out. You and I right now could probably walk out, go across the tracks, and probably within an hour or two, probably shoot a doe out here, right? It would probably happen. So I understand that part of it. But if you treated does the same as you did mature bucks, it's not as easy as you think. And actually, I think they're harder than a mature buck.
Yeah, they're typically more than one, and they're trying to keep the next generation alive. A buck's trying to keep himself alive.
Right.
So a doe is looking for you. I killed a doe last year with my bow that I absolutely would have not killed had it not been November, because she would have been with the other group of does,
Mm-hmm.
and there would have always been one looking at me.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, man. Last doe I shot last year, I targeted her specifically. She's just a freaking ginormous doe, but I knew it was her because she had this weird little white tuft of hair on her belly. Like none of them, the other ones did, and so I knew it was her. But when she came in, there was always 10, 15 other deer in there with her, and I said that was a challenge because I got caught drawing, but luckily they didn't completely spook out, which for late season I was surprised. I figured once that happened they were all gone, but she stopped 30 yards, smoked her. But I was elated, because it was a deer. I targeted that specific deer and didn't have antlers on its head, doesn't need to have antlers on its head. You can target a specific deer and still get that enjoyment out of that.
Oh, absolutely. And you kill a big old doe like that, I mean, you've done something, because
Hmm.
they're constantly on edge. They're looking. They're the ones that are keeping all the other deer alive.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
teaching all the other deer what to look for.
Hmm.
And if you kill a big old doe, yeah, it's like killing a buck.
Well, you know where your big buck learned most of his stuff from?
That old doe.
His mom.
Yeah.
He learned it from his mom. For at least for the first 6 months or at least a year of his life before she kicked him out. For the genetic part. I mean, whatever. Scientists can talk more about that, but yeah. So season's coming up. Good luck to everybody who's going out. Anything else you need to say or want to get out there?
No, that's it. Go shoot your bow.
Yeah, go shoot your bow, folks. And but we're getting towards where season's coming up. By the time this airs, season will probably be here by then. So if you hear this, it's already too late. But don't be that guy and gal who waits to the last second, like the day before season, to pull your bow out of storage and look at it and like And then, I get it. Like, you'll go out, you'll shoot. Oh, it's still on, and you go out and do your thing. Whatever. I understand that. The issue, there's a few issues with that, but the number one thing is, and you pull it out and you look and you see your strings have dry rotted, or something has happened that you need fixed. Guess who's not going to be hunting opening day? Because there ain't a bow shop in the area that's going to be able to get you in time. Matter of fact, most of them probably won't even have strings for you, because they'd have to order them in, because they're all sold out.
Yeah. If you wanna get your bow out now,
Yeah.
early August or July,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure everything's good. Yeah, don't be the guy that shows up the week before season and says, "I really need some strings. These things aren't gonna last." They're gonna laugh.
Yeah, that ain't happening, bud. We'll have a set of strings for you here probably in about 2 months. Because even the local string builders, we've got Joey's, which I think is out towards like the Wayne County area. Joey's Bowstrings. America's Best Bowstrings is outside of Sugar Creek, and then Rogue Bowstrings, which is outside of Dover. I think closer to Winfield than Dover, unless they've moved, but they're out that way. So we've got 3 local ones. There is no way that time of year, because they're busy. Like, they're hitting their busy time. Other guys and gals are out there doing the same thing, out there getting their new strings put on their bows and stuff. So don't be that person, because it ain't going to happen. And then bow techs are just going to be busy. They're not going to be able to put stuff on your bow for you. So hopefully you know how to do all that stuff yourself.
Yeah, if not, learn how to go to a shop
Mm-hmm.
and ask them if you can be there when they put your strings on. Learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm. There's some good now I will say there are some good resources online if you want to go on the YouTube route and watch. Like, John Dudley, he does a good job with his channel. I've learned a lot from Josh Jones, that MFJJ, that Podium Archer, on, because I bought the Matthews, and I was used to the Elite, where I could tune the bow myself with the Elite. Well, I couldn't do that with Matthews. So I had to go back to Miller's up there in Sugar Creek. If I wanted something adjusted, we'd work on it a little bit. I just got tired of doing that. Like, I should be able to do this myself. And so I started watching MFJJ, and he's like, "Oh, this is how you do this, how you do that." So it kind of inspired me to go get my own bow press and stuff, start working on stuff myself. And I'm not very mechanically inclined. So if I can figure it out, if you just put a little time and effort into it, so can you. And there's a lot of resources out there. John Dudley, MFJJ. There's a few others that I would trust when it comes to that.
Yeah. I was fortunate to have people around me that knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a press. So I learned, because, like you said, I'd take it to the bow shop, it wouldn't be right. Or you just shoot a recurve and all you need is a stringer. It's actually,
there he goes.
Yeah.
There he goes.
So I can retune my bow in a matter of about 3 seconds. I did it on an island in the middle of the ocean last year. I blew a string up, and I put the new string on, checked the knock height, checked the brace height, adjusted it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was good to go in like 2 minutes from having half a bundle blown up.
Ready to go. Would you?
When you're back in the backcountry, I carry a spare string now, because I'm not getting stuck back there. And then, especially if you go out west and you spend a bunch of money to hunt, and you cut a string on a rock, then you're stuck until you get back to town and hope you can find a string and cable.
And so a lot of guys will take a second bow with them, but here's where you run into trouble. Where you storing that bow?
Yeah, you're back at the truck.
Yeah, but if it's in the back, if it's in your truck, there's a good chance it might got hot enough to where it's going to start delaminating. You're going to have some issues.
Yeah,
so that's the worst thing you can do, is leave your bow in your truck. I know people who do it. Don't get me wrong. I understand there are people who do it, but it can get hot enough where it's going to cause damage to your limbs.
Yeah,
or worse. So I don't know. I guess there's a different way. Like he said, go get a trad bow, shoot a trad. Just be a man and shoot a trad bow, I guess. I don't know. All right, Billy, anything else we need to talk about? I think we covered a lot.
I think we covered a ton. Yep. I think we're good. Send a hate mail. I can handle it.
Yeah, so once again, you can find Billy on Instagram at Billy Dryden. That's BILLYDRYDEN, all one word, on Instagram. Let him know how stupid he is and his comments about crossbows and how crossbows ain't ruining the sport. Which, let's be honest, we did not say that. It's not ruining the sport. It has changed the dynamic of hunting in Ohio, and it really depends upon your perspective on if you think it's for the better or for the worse. And that's for you to decide on your own. That's not for Sean or Billy to decide that for you. You need to make that decision on yourself. The only thing we always ask anybody to do is just do what's legal and follow the pursuit that you want, as long as it's legal and it's ethical. You're not out there doing dumb shit. Like, be smart, which unfortunately common sense is something that we wish was a little bit more common. I don't have anything else to add to the conversation other than, Billy, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us today and shooting and letting me shoot the trad bow a little bit and get that started now. Thanks. Appreciate that. We'll be talking about that later. Good luck to your upcoming seasons and stuff. And I really do hope that we can get that deer camp, or at least something that looks like a deer camp, put together and make that happen this year. So I think I got somebody else that'd be interested in doing that. So
yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And folks, we appreciate you taking the time to sit and listen to us banter. It's almost been about 2 hours. And if you're still here, thank you for working with us through the technical difficulties we're having. I'm still learning how this program works, but I appreciate you guys hanging there with us. If you are still here, please like and subscribe and follow the show. Share the show with your friends, and make sure you leave a comment on the show, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple, and a few other places you'll find us at. You can also follow along on Instagram and TikTok. Find us Kountryfried Outdoors on both. Both of those are spelled with a K, so because I had to be difficult and spell with a K and be different. But until then, folks, man, get out there, go shoot your bow. Season's coming, or at least get out there, get some practice in, because by the time you hear, the season's already here, but it might be too late. But maybe, hopefully, try to get out there a little bit earlier for next season. Or if you haven't gone out yet, get out there and get that bow out, shoot a little bit, and get that try to take care of and ready to go. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, until our experiences cross paths again, may you have the courage to fail, but yet the humility to learn. And as always, we hope you stay safe out there, and God bless you. Thank you for listening to the Kountryfried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. Before you go, don't forget to leave us a review and follow the show on the podcast platform of your choice. Are you hungry for more Kountryfried Outdoors? Then follow us on Instagram at Kountryfried Outdoors, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kountryfried Outdoor Productions.